Did you know that you can get clients in 1 hour per day? 1 hour of super specific, super concentrated effort can get you new clients in your service-based business. Welcome to Uncensored Sales TV. I am Ryan Dowdy. I am a sales coach and I help brand new entrepreneurs build six-figure businesses by mastering their sales conversation and their mindset. And I know that there is a lot of false promises on the internet about becoming a millionaire barely working. And this is not one of those videos. So if that's what you're looking for, you can tune out. If you're looking for real resources and real ways to be really specific with 60 minutes in your day, then come hang out, stick around. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss a video. I do a ton of training on helping you get your first clients in your business. But let's talk about what that 1 hour each day looks like to help you get clients. So when I started my business, I was growing my business alongside my full-time job. I was pregnant, had a toddler, just super busy, involved in our church, had a lot going on. I did not have a lot of time. So I had to be super, super intentional with my time. And I developed this system that I didn't even realize I was developing at the time, about 1 hour of super concentrated income generating activity every single day. So first of all, let's talk about what income generating activity is. Simply put, it is the stuff that you do that makes you money. Early on in your business, the stuff that makes you money is talking to people, actually being in the DMs with people, interacting with people, networking coffee, networking chats, showing up at in-person networking events if that's your jam, hanging out on Instagram in the DMs with people, and really interacting with other humans. That is income generating activity. Income generating activity is not writing content. It is not working on client work. It is not developing assets for your business. So I want to be clear on that first, because this 1 hour in your day has to be super focused on income generating activity, not those other things. Not that those other things don't make you money. They are not actually what's going to sell those services though. For me, those are things that need to be done in your business. They're important, but they're not the income generating activity. So taking an hour, what I actually did with my hour was I broke it down into 3 20-minute chunks because I was working full time. So one was super early in the morning, one was over my lunch break, one was in the evening after my son went to bed. So my first block of my 20-minute time was what I called my outbound block. And that block was where I would go into Facebook groups and comment and answer questions and just provide a ton of value for people. So I would pick whatever Facebook group I was hanging out on. And of course, you can do this on Instagram and LinkedIn as well. And I would go through and I would just get involved in as many conversations as possible. Do not overthink this. You are not looking for people looking for you. You are here to get involved in conversations. Honestly, guys, think of Facebook groups as networking events, right? When you go to a networking event, you're not only talking to people who are looking for you, you're talking to all of the people in the room. You're shaking hands, you're meeting people, you're getting involved in conversation. You want to be seen as someone who is valuable and interesting and knows their stuff and shows up consistently, right? So that is what that outbound block was for me, was just going out and getting into the comments of Facebook groups. I didn't post a lot in Facebook groups early on in my journey. That is a strategy that we are testing. And as it continues to work for us, of course, I will share it with you guys. I always do. But first, I really want you to focus on just going to be of service of people who are in Facebook groups, asking questions, telling their stories, get involved in those conversations. So my first 20 minutes was really that outbound block of just getting into the comments. The second part, second 20-minute block, which I usually did over my lunch break, was responding to comments. Because once you're in those comments, people are going to respond, right? I teach you guys to make sure that when you are commenting and getting involved in conversation, that you always ask questions. Because when you ask a question, you get a response, right? So we want to get into a back and forth dialogue with people. That's how we get into conversation. And the way that we do that is by asking questions. So in my second 20-minute block, I was actually just going back in and answering those questions. So all of that outbound love and value that I had done earlier that morning, I could go in over my lunch break and then, continue those conversations, answer those conversations, answer any of the questions that I got, and hope to continue those conversations. My third 20-minute block was when I managed my inbox, which meant any incoming messages that I had coming in really only got answered once a day. For some of you, that probably makes you want to cry, is the idea of only checking your inbox once a day. But I found that if I tried to check my inbox all day long, first of all, I was working all day long. I wasn't as thoughtful and I couldn't get as much accomplished because I was trying to be too sporadic in my work. I found that I am much better when I have concentrated blocks. And again, this is intended to be super concentrated effort. And so in 20 minutes, you can answer a lot of DMs very, very quickly if you're super concentrated on your effort. And that's what I did. Another great way to do this and to do it quickly is to use the voice memo. Whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, all of those messenger apps actually have voice memo opportunities where you could just hit record and give, continue a conversation that you might be having. Because remember, the goal of the networking funnel is to interact in the group, get into one-on-one, or to, answer those questions and get into one-on-one conversations, which of course happen in the direct messages, private messages, PMs, DMs, whatever you call them in the messages. That's where the magic happens, is the one-on-one interaction. So it starts at the top of the funnel, which is that outbound block, answering those questions is kind of the middle. And then of course the bottom of my networking funnel was getting into the DMs with people. And so I managed each one of those times super specifically over the course of the day. That allowed me, like I said, to be specific and get stuff done. Because what happens is if you put this hour block on your calendar and you try to do all those things at one time, you will not do any of them well. And I can tell you this from experience. If you're trying to put out outbound comments and then respond to the comments that are coming back, and then make sure you're moving your DMs forward and you're building those relationships and qualifying those conversations, you're not going to do any of them well, and you're not going to be able to get enough outbound activity, response activity, and then DM activity to actually talk to enough people, to qualify people, to find your ideal clients. So yes, this activity, it takes 1 hour a day. It takes 1 hour every single working day on your business. You can chunk it into those 3 20-minute blocks and really work people through your your networking funnel. Now remember, guys, this is just one part of the puzzle. Of course, we want to be getting onto networking chats or connection calls. We want to be booking sales calls, strategy calls, all the different types of calls. That's what we want to be booking. But this 1 hour, this dedicated 1 hour, cannot go away once you start booking those calls. This is important. This 1 hour block should never be removed from your calendar, as long as your business grows, until you're ready to outsource it to someone in your business. This is the lifeblood of your business. It is 1 hour per day. 1 hour per day of super concentrated effort literally can be the total game changer for you and your business. However, we want to make sure that we are leaving time for those additional things, like those networking coffees or connection calls, strategy calls, where you're, maybe providing some advice for people to help move them through your funnel. And then of course, there's just those sales conversations in general. So those are in addition to your hour block, but this hour block is where it starts. And the activity, guys, that you're doing here will compound every time you do it. Every day you show up, the more visible you become, the more people that you talk to, the more conversations that you have, it starts to compound. Think of this, guys, as like building a snowman. And I love that I use this example because I've never actually built a snowman in my life. But when you do, you start with a little tiny snowball, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger the more snow that you put on it. And all of a sudden you've got this giant snowball. Right? When you're rolling, they tell you to roll your snowball to get, to make the base of your snowman really, really big. That's what you're doing. You're starting with this little baby piece of snow and you're rolling it and making it bigger and bigger and bigger. And that is what this hour does inside of your business every single day. 1 hour, super dedicated. For me, it was 3 20-minute chunks. I was super intentional with that time. It was a total game changer for my business, for getting clients, for building my one-on-one business, for, growing my Facebook group, and then eventually growing my email list, which again, not super important for you now, but having this in my business and having this day-to-day activity was super, super important. So want to make sure that you guys have access to the Uncensored Sales System. It is my proven 5-step system that starts with lead generation. It is a totally free PDF where I walk you through everything from lead generation, discovery call, pitching your services, and beyond. There's a link in the notes. Make sure that you download that. If you are not yet in our Facebook community, please join us. We've recently changed it to Ambitious Women Entrepreneurs Mastering Sales Skills. So please join us inside of that community. And of course, we would always love for you to follow us on Instagram at Uncensored Sales. And I look forward to hearing how your 1 hour incremental blocks are going for you. So comment below, let me know what is your commitment to this. And then of course, I want to hear how it's going for you, and we'll see you in the next video.